Hello, everybody. Welcome back, my queens and my king. I have a special announcement today, and this is such juicy information. I'm gonna get the awkwards out of the way right now. Today is your lucky day, and definitely it's like eating the good nectar today. So I really want to share this forbidden secret, and I really want to jump into it right away. So listen up. This is your free will. This is a great opportunity for you to actually connect with your potential soul mate or even your soul partner. And it's all within the star. It's in your lucky star. And I'm so grateful to have my wingman here today. He is my official wingman. His name is Abhi Yogi. And if you are ready to invest a reading today, there's a link down below. It is $108 US to get a reading with him. And I really, if you're ready to bounce on it, go ahead and click that link down below. All you have to do is type in your donation, $108, your birthday, your time, and your location, and he will get back to you with the booking and the time that you're going to get this reading if you're ready to do this. However, if you're the person that can't financially invest into a reading with the great thing that we're going to be sharing today, I'm going to teach you at the very middle of this presentation how to do that, how to get the funding, because I'm going to activate your Mercury today. So it is your lucky day. So if you're ready to actually invest into your soulmate and find out who is this person is and that you can wake up to, and if you're making all these bedroom noises and his name doesn't sound right, this is a reason why. So I'm going to share this forbidden secret with my Abhi Yogi friend here. So Abhi Yogi, come on.
Thank you so much for all the kind words. I am the wingman. That makes me very happy. And Abhi Yogi is here to help everyone their dream partner or that one partner who's going to make their life beautiful. Don't we all want that? I mean, so here I am. I have stories to share, and I can actually begin with one case. We'll see an example of how charts work. But before I do that, share 2 minutes and say why sounds are important and how they impact our lives. Can I dwell on that for some time? Right? So here's a little analogy. Here's a little story that I want to tell you. So imagine, Cindy, that you were born with your moon in a sound, in a nakshatra sound of, say, A, and your name was supposed to be Andy or Elena or something like that. Now, when you go to a restaurant and you have this gentleman on the pizza counter, he has your favorite pizza ready, and he's looking for Andy or Elena or Angelina, and he's yelling your name, but you are waiting for the sound of Cindy, okay? And you are not aligned with the universe, because at the moment you were born, your moon was in a sound which was A, okay? But since you don't know that, and since you're not aligned, you just waiting for the sound Cindy. And this guy doesn't say Cindy, and then he says, well, Andy's gone, I guess, this Angelina or this Elena is gone by now. Who's next? And Cindy misses her pizza. Okay, and then she complains, well, what's my pizza? Why me, God? Things like that. But let me tell you, next time, after I tell you that this sound is for you, and this is the sound that you were born with, or is lucky for you, or is going to bring you money and fame or good relationship or love and romance. After that, if you go to the same pizzeria, when this gentleman yells your name, you are going to respond and you get the pizza. That is how it works, man. Your guiding angels and your the God that you pray, they actually send out a lot of gifts for you in this universe. And these gifts are actually coming with certain sounds that you were born with, okay? But we name ourselves whatever we want to. And our names are based on cultures or tastes, or sometimes, there are several reasons why we call ourselves whatever we want to call. And that's how we kind of miss those gifts. And then we call that bad luck, or we call that, that I'm not lucky enough. And there are hundreds of ways to put that. The idea is to be aligned to the sound that are lucky for you, that are good for you. And then so that you get those gifts, your life becomes more and more beautiful. You have more prosperity, you have more fame, and all good things that everyone's looking for, right? So that's the little analogy that I use of the person going to buy the pizza. Is basically, I'm trying to tell you, this is how you get your gifts from the universe. Especially relationships are so important, because you need to know exactly why a relationship is not working, or how can I make my relationship a happy one. Who is that person who's going to bring me happiness and stability in life, so that there is no relationship turnover happening. It sounds like a cheesy word, relationship turnover. It's not a restaurant, or it's not a business, but that's how sometimes when we are not aligned, and we choose wrong partners, wrong sounds, we kind of have breakups, and it's painful, sometimes financially too. Obviously it's emotionally, it's sad to go through all that. So with respect to relationships, I have an example here. I'll share my screen now and I'll show you an example. All right, so in front of me, I have the birth chart of this famous Hollywood star, Brad Pitt. Okay, he was born on 18th of December 1963. That's the time, and that's where he was born. These are from good sources, these details. So that is his chart, that is his birth chart. And I want to show you a very interesting thing. He was married to this beautiful actress called Angelina Jolie. Before I go there, I want to give you a brief about the sound. So these are the 12 houses. This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So these are 12 houses. And each house signifies a certain area of our life, a certain characteristic. Every house means something. Every house has different meanings and different interpretations. At the same time, each house also has different sounds that they correspond, right? So I want to give you a brief that so this is yourself, this is you, your body, your soul, this is how you look, your appearance, this is your wealth, your mouth, chin. These are your hands, and this is your actions in life. That's your mother here, and that's where this is your home, this is your happiness. This 5th house is basically for your everything that makes you happy: children, romance, entertainment. This is all litigations, enemies, diseases, and stuff like that. A little bit of negative more here, duties, a lot of duties here. Then this is marriage, this is romance. Again, this is beautiful house, this is romance. This is what we going to focus on today. 8th house is all about separation, death, financial debts, sudden losses, sudden gains, taxation. 9th house is all about spirituality, your guru, your father, and ancient wisdom. Everything that you learn in this life that is not taught in schools and colleges or universities, that you learn from life, is all 9th house. This house is the house of recognition, and this house is also the house of your career, your success, and things like that. 11th house is the house of gains, which we all want. Gains of all kinds, gains of friends, gains of social circles, society, money. And the 12th house is the house of expenses, expenses of thoughts, expenses of money, also separation, isolation, and foreign worlds, foreign realms, faraway places, basically remote places. So these are the significations of each houses. Now I'll tell you how. If you look at Brad Pitt's chart, his wife's name was Angelina Jolie, right? They're now they're not together. So the sound of air So when I say the sound, I'm not actually talking about the letter A, but I'm talking about the sound A, which is how you say edge or you say Elena, So we're talking about the sound and not the letter, the phonetic sound. The sound A in his chart actually falls in the sixth house over here, right? Which is the house of enemies, litigations, diseases, and a lot of duties towards someone and things like that. That is where air falls. And then Jolie, the Joe, actually is here. It's in the third house, but more so the Joe is on the cusp of his third house, where Saturn is close to that cusp. Saturn is actually, it's powerful. It's a powerful Saturn there. The sounds of his wife were. Now, Saturn is all about restriction, contraction, the one who punishes you if you're not doing the right things in life. And when you have your sound of your partner that is close to the sound of, or which is conjunct or very close, a planet which is malefic, the relationship cannot go for long. It will be turbulent. And if the sound of sixth house, if the sound of your spouse is either the first name or the last name, if it falls in the sixth house, then there is going to be some kind of enmity. Well, this enmity is not actually very it's not cruel, and there's no bloodshed, but it's like there is always a lot of stress in the relationship. In fact, they also did a movie which was called Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and they were trying to kill each other in that movie. So somehow it got manifested actually on screen, and that one scene is, you could go and YouTube it, but there's so much of there's so much of action and fighting and kicking and all that going on there. This is kind of manifested there. So that's Angelina Jolie. And then if I have to go back to his previous partner, before he got married to Angelina Jolie, he was partners with Jennifer Aniston. This is her chart, Jennifer Aniston. Okay, this is where the Brad is, the B is, which is the sound of sound in Sagittarius. And the pit, the per, actually goes to the 12th house, which is expense of thoughts, expense of relationship, also separation, long distance kind of thing. And so the 12th house is not a great house for having your spouse's name or that sound being there. It's not a great name. When it comes to the B, if you remove the R, it's ba, which is exactly the sound of comet here called Upaketu. And Upaketu, I can show you the sound, but 29 degrees and 57 minutes of, I can actually show you that. This is Sagittarius, and the last, 29 degrees and 57 minutes actually falls here, and it says bear over here. So that is the sound of Upaketu, and Upaketu is restriction, and Upaketu is basically separation. Upaketu is like a smaller version of Ketu, which is the south node of the moon. And well, I really can't go on to say how south node of the moon works, but it's also a malefic. It's not great for relationships. It's actually good for separations. The pit is in the 12th house, as I discussed. If I look at the chart of Angelina Jolie, and that's her chart, again, ba comes in the 6th house. Pit, the P, actually again goes to the 3rd house, and the sound is so close to Pluto. So there's a lot of 3rd house happening in this triangle. And the thing is, all these three people have something malefic in the 3rd house, and that's why, otherwise 3rd house is not as bad. It could have carried on the relationship. And that's why maybe they had it good, but then eventually the 6th or the 12th house influence did play upon, and these malefics did take a toll on their relationships. So and look at the funny part. I mean, Brad Pitt was married to JA, and then all he could manage was AJ at the end. I mean, isn't that funny? JA and AJ.
Wow, Mr. Wingman here did such a good job as explaining all that. Can you just imagine being married to somebody and it's be bad fortune? Like Abhi Yogi was sharing you such a deep secret here. And if you're ready to book a reading with him, it's $108 down below US. You got to do a donation. You put in your birth time and your location. And if you don't have that on hand right away, that's okay. You can just book the time because it's first come, first serve. If you don't know who I am still, I'm SindyKing. I'm a creator of Calling My King. I help transform women to create lasting love through Vedic astrology, neuroscience, and transactional analysis so that she becomes the queen of love. And today, if you want a reading and you don't have the funding, I'm going to activate your Mercury today. And Mercury has to do with your flirting and your friendliness and you'll be able to be resourceful. Okay, so I want you to look around in your house. There's something that you probably don't want or probably need to purge, and you can actually sell it. I have taught women in my program, my queens here, because they really run their queendom. We really have to be resourceful. I want you to look around your house. If there's something that you don't need, you can actually get rid of and just sell it, go for it. And if it's worth the reading, you know what? This is going to change your life. Just like he was saying, if there's something that you can use as a free will, do it now, because this is an opportunity. If you can change either your name either on a dating profile to attract the type of right guy, or if you're in the wrong type of guy, then his name doesn't sound, or it's actually in sitting in a bad house, why continue on learning that lesson if you can avoid it? You know, astrology, I wanted a disclaimer here. Astrology is not always perfect, but however, there's other pillars that needs to be involved. Not only the sound, you got to come off being feminine and attract the masculine man, right? If you're already a masculine woman, great. There's not a problem being a masculine woman. Then you need to find with somebody who's has an animas. And this is talk about the yin and the yang. And he's going to be talking about this specifically. And he will be actually continuing on doing other charts like Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. And he will talk about the castaway and how that's being related into the movie. It really plays out in their real life, not only behind the bedroom. I know that you guys are a sex machine and you guys are obsessed with sex, but you know what? There's more to the relationship than just being intimate as well. So I really want you guys get the result that you're looking for. And I really want you to like really think about this in the real moment here. If the things that you're doing right now, and you're doing the things over and over and over and hoping to get the same results, why are you continuing on doing that? Are you hoping that it's going to land somewhere? But no, not necessarily. We need to go back to the white drawing board. Do you guys all agree with me? You need to go back to the drawing board. I brought my wingman here to help you use your free will. If the name doesn't sound right, you guys all know how to build your men funnel at this point. Especially you can, you know, binge watch all my videos all you want all night and you still get the knowledge. But however, you need to take certain action and get the coaching that you need, because this is how we influence each other and get the solution, what's going on. Because instead of walking around doing the same thing over and over years and years afterwards, I've seen people done that so many times, and we need to get back to the drawing board, because that is free will right there, because we're giving you a solution. If the name doesn't sound right, it's his name doesn't sound right, your name, we need to change an idea of changing your dating profile and just by the name, so that you can attract the type of soulmate that you need to. We're going to be doing Q&A at the very end, but if you're ready to book, it's first come first serve. Links is down below. Make the donation, $108, to my wingman here, Abhi Yogi, and he's so phenomenal. He's so knowledgeable. Isn't that breathtaking what he just showed you just based on the chart? You don't need to know the chart. All we're showing you, this is what you're going to get in the reading, and we're going to explain a little bit more in the Q&A what you get in the reading. So you really want to pay attention to this and really draw in the type of man or women that you want to wake up to, or make the sound that you need to make behind the bedroom doors as well, whatever it takes. But this is back to the drawing board, and this is the free will that you're ready to take, right? So let's carry on the presentation. My Abhi Yogi here will continue on talking about Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. why is it working and why it might be not working based on his presentation here today. Abhi Yogi, come on in.
This phenomenal actor called Tom Hanks. He's done great work over the years, and he continues to do that. I'm a big fan. Respect. If you look at this chart, his wife's name is Rita Wilson. Okay, that's Rita's chart here. Tom and Rita have been married, if I'm not mistaken, since 1988, I think. Yeah, I mean, late 80s. You know, and it's we are in 2021, so they have had a great marriage, man. They have had a continuous and a very nice. They would have had the ups and downs, but there has been a great association of these two. There has to be some reason, there's something that is working for them. And so let me look at Rita's chart first. And if I look at Rita's chart, and her husband's name is Tom Hanks, and then Tom sits in the Tom actually sits here in Leo for Rita, which is the 10th house of success, 10th house of recognition, 10th house of the last name Hanks, that falls in the 9th house, which is Cancer. So you have two sounds, Leo and Cancer. 9th house is house of spirituality. 9th house is house of father, your guru. 9th house is also the long distance journeys, that make you happy. And all kind of ancient wisdom and things like that. Now, if I look at Rita's from her chart's perspective, the first letter sounds are occupying two beautiful houses. One is recognition, so she is getting the due recognition from her partner. That she is doing a great job she's taking care of their family, and she's doing her stuff. And there is recognition as a partner that she's supporting him all the time because he's been busy. He's been working. They would have had their adjustments and ups and downs, and she's done a great job doing that. So there's recognition from Tom for sure. If there wasn't any, then the marriage wouldn't have lasted that longer. And then comes the Hanks part, and this is the 9th house, where this is about ancient wisdom. And the ancient wisdom is that once you get married, you love someone, and then it's forever. You really don't look forward. You don't look for reasons to actually leave someone and then find a new person in your life. You try to make your own ways. You try to give your input in the relationship, and then that's how you actually be successful. So she got that energy from this sound here. And this sound is also the sound of your guru or your father. So like a father, he's obviously taken good care of her. As a guru, he would have given her a lot of knowledge about things, or just that communication would have been great between the two, where they could easily sort their. Now the sound of hair actually is the sound of moon. You can see it here in the screen. I've marked it with this yellow dots. So the Hanks is hair, and it's the sound of Rita's moon, which is in Pushya Nakshatra. And Pushya Nakshatra is all about nourishment. Pushya is all about giving, spreading love. And it's a beautiful nakshatra. It's a very pious, and it's very sacred nakshatra. In Indian culture, we say that whatever we do in a Pushya Nakshatra, when moon is in Pushya Nakshatra, it actually manifests, it comes true. You can grow wealth and things like that. So, how we saw in the previous case of Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, their charts, they had so much of these sounds sitting with malefic planets. Here you have this sound sitting with the benefic, which is moon, and especially when it is in Pushya. Because moon here is also very powerful, because it sits in its own sign, because moon rules Cancer. All right. So that's how it plays. Sorry, Rita Wilson's chart. Now let's go to Tom's chart and see what Rita, so Ray and Wilson is doing here. If you see, there's this planet Neptune, and the sound of Neptune is Re. Okay, and that's in the third house. Okay, now this is so beautiful. Neptune is not a malefic. Neptune is obviously it's out of this world, but Neptune is about things that are out of your imagination. Neptune is deep, deep ocean. Neptune is uncertainty. Neptune is where you don't know the land ends or the sky begins. That's all that is Neptune. Neptune is all about, Neptune is feminism. Neptune is feminine, Uranus is masculine. So Neptune is that. Plus Neptune is sitting in the sign of Libra, and the Lord of Libra is Venus, which sits very beautifully in its own sign in the 10th house. So the dispositor of the sign is comfortable. Neptune is about uncertainty. There would have been times when Tom would have thought this is not working out, but he wasn't sure. He wasn't sure if that is the right thing to do. Sometimes uncertainty can lead to delay in decisions. And this delay has worked for the relationship. And it has worked so beautifully. I heard in an interview that he gave to Oprah, I think. And, in that interview, he said something like, he once told Oprah Winfrey, I'm a lucky man. Rita could have done better, but every now and again, you win a lottery. Okay. So what he means when he says that is, he means that, he did feel that at times she could have done better, but every now and then you win a lottery. So you see how beautifully that uncertainty is playing out, that whenever he thinks that, oh, this is not working out, all of a sudden, Rita pulls out a trick out of a hat, and then things just keep going and going and going, and they've gone good. God bless them. And I mean, I also want to tell you, as I spoke, Neptune is deep sea, right? So I don't know. There's a very popular movie called Castaway, and the lead was Tom Hanks in that. And see how things manifest in your life. A middle of the ocean on an island, deserted, not sure where he is. He doesn't have any idea. All that is so much Neptune, And then he has fear around him. He doesn't know it. I mean, he doesn't know what to do. And then one day, a volleyball or some kind of ball, it comes ashore, and it says, and the ball is from a company called Wilson. And then he kind of, in that movie, if you see that movie, he starts talking to the ball as if it's a person, and he becomes his friend. And then in the end, he also cries for this friend when he actually the ball falls down in the ocean and goes far away. He can't fetch it. He weeps so much. It's so beautifully shot. It's so emotional. And the name of that ball is Wilson. It's Rita Wilson. So there is ocean, there is Wilson, there is so much of longing. And I don't know if he actually did it on purpose, but if he did it on purpose, that's the great message that anyone can give to his spouse or wife or girlfriend, that, I love you so much that I can manifest this. It kind of manifested that relationship, that beautiful relationship on screen. So that's about this lovely couple, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson.
Wow, Abhi Yogi, that is so amazing. I can't believe that the Castaway little project that he did about the volleyball, and it was his soulmate that he was talking to. Really, it's such an amazing, inspired place, especially if you know the sound of your hubby, and it's considered to be the golden ticket. That's what he was saying. It's a golden ticket. I want to share you something a little bit, my wingman here, and I think he's such a finesse. He's just an amazing person. And the reason why I'm saying this, not because he's my wingman, it's because, number one, he really articulate these sound base, and he's like what I call the Bitcoin broker. So he uses sound to pick what he's going to invest. And any man who does that, they're activating their Venus. That's what they're manifesting here. I'm sharing you my wingman here personally, and I'm so excited. If you are ready to jump on to get a reading from him, it's $108 US dollar. Make a donation down there. Just all you have to do is type in your name and as well as your birthday and your location. And if you don't have that, that's totally fine. He already has the email. He sees the donation. He will get back to you. If the link is no longer there, that means the promotion has ended and we just decide to move on to other projects. And I'm sorry for that you have missed it. But if you want him to come back, and I will definitely work with him again, definitely leave a comment down below. Give me a thumbs up as well, because he did such a good job of it. And I'm so excited. He's going to be sharing so much more. Now he's going to be sharing how does sound actually manifest in wealth. So just get ready, tighten your seatbelt, and Abhi Yogi, come on back in.
Celebrity charts is because we can relate. Celebrities, we kind of relate. We know their stories. We know that beautiful actress, one of my favorites, in fact, my favorite from. So here is the chart of this beautiful actress, Julia Roberts, 18th of October, 67. That's where she was born, and that's her chart. Beautiful chart. Amazing. There's so much of Punarvasu. Well, I don't want to get into the technicality. As an astrologer, you want to, just dig in and dive in on all beautiful parts of anyone's life. Coming back to, the topic that we're talking about, relationship and sounds. So Daniel Morder is, I think, a technician. He's a cameraman, I think, and he's a beautiful technician in this movie business. And they've been married for a long time now. It's been more than 15, about 18 years. I think they've been married since 2002. And let's look at the sounds Daniel Morder. So where is the Mo? So in this chart, the Mo actually falls over here in Leo, right? And the sound of Da actually falls in the second house over here. And these are, again, two beautiful houses. Well, you would say, hey, listen, what happened to the third house issues of the previous celebrities that we spoke about? But hang on. Look at this. There's Jupiter and then there is Venus. There are two benefic planets here. Mo is actually the sound of Venus, which is the planet that signifies relationships. So this woman actually found a person whose sound is one of the sounds of his first and the last name is Mo, which is right on her Venus. How can that go wrong? And then the first name Da of Daniel is actually the second house. Second house is family. Second house is good food. Second house is your wealth, all good things. Second house is also family love, not just relationship of a boyfriend and a girlfriend, but when you feel at home with someone. That's what second house is. Okay. Julia, the J and the R of Julia Roberts is not that well placed, or I'm assuming it's in great dignity there, and thus the beautiful relationship. And but Julia is taking care of this whole thing here. She is actually lifting the whole relationship. When I say she, her chart, her destiny is actually lifting the whole relationship up, and she's taken the right decision by meeting this person, and some guiding angel would have told her, or you would have rung the bell that man, this is the guy, go for him. And however, are we all as lucky as Julia? I guess not. So it's always better if we kind of use our free will, as Cindy said, and we try to find out what is good for us, and then get into relationships so that there is no heartburn and there are no emotional issues, no financial losses, and you go through so much of turmoil. So yeah, this is one more chart that you can see here. I have one more example of So this is more like this is Priyanka Chopra, the Indian actress who is now in the US, and she's been working in the US for last, I think, 5-6 years, and she's very popular there. She's been married to this gentleman called Nick Jonas. He himself is a musician. Both of them are musicians, actually. She's an actress and musician, and this guy plays. They make great music. I've heard a lot of that. In his chart, the Priyanka, the per, actually again goes to the third house, and you again have Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury, three benefics sitting here with the sound of per. So she is going to be lucky for him. She is going to inspire him to make music, because these three planets here are also making a Saraswati yoga. Saraswati yoga is a beautiful yoga that, which makes you very learned, and it makes you very creative musically and art and things like that. And then the sound Cha of Chopra is, that sound actually falls in the 10th house. So he is going to get the recognition and the success that he's looking for in the relationship, and otherwise success. So he's also going to, these houses, they also kind of activate that area of that particular area of your life. So maybe by being with maybe kind of become more successful, or maybe he gets opportunities that make him more and more successful, or get him that recognition that he's looking for, and all that, all the attention that a star really wants. So that's beautifully manifesting here. And this is a great example of how, how I spoke about Julia Roberts lifting the whole chart, lifting the whole relationship. Here you have Nick, taking care of this entire thing, beautifully placed names. If I go to Priyanka's chart, the sound of Ni actually is on the border of the 8th and the 9th house. It's right here. Now the 8th house is not good, but I forgot to tell you one thing, that the 8th house is great for, your bedroom pleasures. And there is a lot of sexual attraction towards these people who have their names in your 8th house. However, I'm not trying to justify the 8th house. It is a malefic house. And if the sound of your spouse falls in this house, it is going to cause trouble in a longer run. I knock the wood. I bless the couple. They are both beautiful people, and I hope their relationship goes on and on and on. I don't want to make any predictions here, but that's the fact. Ni actually falls here. However, I told you how Nick's chart is, taking care of this little minus here. He's just lifting it up. So it's a two-way thing. Both people have to be, connected to each other so well that the relationship keeps going on and on and on. And then the sound of Joe, Nick Jonas, the sound of Joe is again 10th house over here. So again, recognition from the partner, and a lot of success. Yes, she has been successful. She's continuously doing good work in the US. She's very popular across the globe, but we don't have enough time. And it beautifully manifests. And in fact, in your own chart, whenever you have a reading with me, I can give you names that can, from the people in the family, and you will kind of relate that, yes, that cousin of mine is so close to me. And then I'll give you the reason why they're close to you, because that name falls in a good place, right? And things like that. Or my boyfriend or my girlfriend, things like that. So these are a few examples of how relationships, how sounds work for relationships.
Abhi, that's such a juicy information when it comes to the 8th house, which everybody get terrified about. And it can be scary, but it's also a house of inheriting as well, and joint venture, and also maybe doing taxes together without killing each other in the process of every tax year. But here's the thing here. If you are ready to book a reading with my wingman here, my Abhi Yogi here, the link is down below. If you don't see the link, it means that you have missed it, and I'm sorry. And it is a first come, first serve, and it's very simple. All you have to do is make a donation, $108 US, and put in your name, put in your date of birth, of time and location, and as well as any information that you need. I will link it all down below. You just type it all in there, you make a donation, he will get back to you and with a booking time, and that works for you. He is my wingman, that's from the other side of the world. So just know that there's certain times he will definitely accommodate as much as he can when it comes to where the reading is happening. Like I was mentioning earlier in my presentation, that if you want a reading and you don't have the funding, I want you to activate your Mercury by looking around your house. Is there anything that you can purge? Anything that you can purge, let go for a temporary. This is my wingman. This is my man who actually know how to invest using his Venus to invest money and make money double the price. You can also, like he was mentioning about power couple. Okay. Can you just imagine what it's like to be a power couple, that both of you are activating that recognition in the world, that you guys are going to be recognized in the world based on finance or whatever you accomplish. That's the word I'm looking for. This is a very different type of reading than Western. This is the reason why I want him on here, because this is a forbidden fruit here. We're actually tapping into a secret that nobody really talks about in the Western astrology. Not a lot of astrology. So this reading is totally different. Why am I sharing him with you guys? Because I believe in free will, because I didn't know about this until where I am. Like, I wish I knew this 10 years ago when I did my readings. And now I do have that in back of my hand. I'm sharing you the exact secret. He is authentic. He is so authentic, and he's so real, and he will let you know where your free will. And we're going to talk about remedies as well in the Q&A. So I want you to stick all the way through. If you need to pause the video to book the time right now to make the donation, $108, that you can get a reading in, do it now. Pause the video before we continue on, because this is just life-changing. You can use this in your business. You can use this as your best friend. You can use this in your romantic relationship. You can find places. You just have that cue, like everybody is into the numerology right now about the 1111. This is the same thing based on sound. I really want you to have this. It's personally, it's actually for you only, and nobody else will. It's never going to be the same for anybody else. So he always going to give you a different combination of sound names, or a name that it starts, that activates certain houses in your chart. Like I said, this is free will. This is one tool to help you to be successful. And like I said, if you're dating right now and you have your men funnel, you're going to say, who am I really want to try to go out on a date? Or who am I willing to communicate with? Based on the sound, based on the first name, based on the last name, you're going to go to those first. I want you to test it out. Okay. You get a reading with Abhi right now, Yogi. I want you to get a reading from him. I want you to test it out. I want you to test it out. Just change the name, or pick the date that you really want to have a date with based on the sound, and see if it actually works. Because I really want to see if it is actually working, if not for you, because that's really important. Because I know I've seen it in my personal life, and I think it changes, and definitely might change yours. So let's activate that free will, back to the drawing board. Let's not do the same thing over and over time again, because it's just redundant. It doesn't make any sense to anymore. So let's try something totally different. And again, investing into yourself, I absolutely never turn that down. But for you, it's up to you. And how do you know that we can trust us? Because we're showing you right now the demonstration, what it does for you based on these celebrities charts here. And I know that you guys all can connect with celebrities, and especially if you're living in LA or California like I was, this definitely would resonate with you. So you guys know the juicy stuff here. So Abhi Yogi, come on back in. Let me know what you're going to share us today about money.
Steve Jobs we all know he had a partner with him, because he started the whole Apple thing in a garage, the whole Mac thing, and his partner was Steve Wozniak. Okay, so and he himself was Steve Jobs. So the sound of Sir in his chart is actually Aquarius. It's here, the seventh house, which is the most beautiful house for any kind of partnerships, be it romantic partnerships, husband and wife, or business partnerships. These partnerships are great because these partnerships actually, so if this is you, the ascendant, this is the descendant, this is like the yin and the yang, they kind of complete each other. Okay, so a great partner he got in Steve Wozniak, and they did great numbers, they made a lot of success, and they came up with great technology. um, um, you would know, however, that I think in 1985, Steve Jobs was removed from the board and of Apple, and he had to leave Apple. And if you research, you will find that there was a gentleman called John Scully, who was then the CEO of Apple and they had differences for about a year or more, and then eventually the board decided that Steve should leave, and so that partnership didn't work. So that partnership with John Scully didn't work. That relationship with John Scully didn't work. Why was there enmity with John Scully? So the sound jaw, which sits in Capricorn, is the sixth house of enmity, of difference in opinion, of litigations, of one person trying to enslave other, things like one person feeling all the duty towards the other, but the other person not actually reciprocating in the same way. That's the sixth house. So John Scully, and Scully couldn't save him, because the sound sk is actually, there is very less sir in it. The sound of sir is very less because it's a little bit of sk, sir, and then ka. So and there you have Ketu sitting on the sound of ka. So let's not go there. This name John, any John for that matter, wouldn't have been, a great partner or a great friend or relationship for this gentleman. Okay, now he himself was called Steve Jobs. Now you must be thinking, then was he his last name starting with Jaw, wasn't there an inner conflict? Of course there was an inner conflict ongoing. He was always, you would have there are so many YouTube videos of him being agitated all the time, and he was very upfront and he was very blunt as he spoke. Also, he was very, very hardworking. Sixth house is about duties. So he was always aware about all the duties he had to do. Work was worship for him. So sometimes our own names, as Cindy said, you can actually go and change your name on your Facebook chat, or if there's a dating website where you have a profile name, maybe you can change that. Because sometimes your own name kind of channelizes your energies only towards one thing, and there can be self-conflict. It could be conflicting with your own personality. It can be conflicting with what you're actually looking for and things like that. So this is a great example of how the sound of your own name and sound of someone else who was John didn't work for him. And he also, he passed away, and it was not the right age for someone to, so he had pancreatic cancer. We all know that. And it was a very rare kind, and he fought it, and then eventually he could not, win. It's very unfortunate that we don't have him now. Again, sixth house is the house of diseases. And what is here? There is job, of the jobs. So he also kind of manifested that thing in his life. He got a disease which actually, he could not defeat. This is also house of, as I said, enemy. So disease is also an enemy. You have to fight it. Your body fights it. Otherwise, if you can't fight, you perish. And that's what happened. This is sad. So well, if I would have met this gentleman way back when he was in his 20s or 30s, I would have told him, hey, listen, why don't you just drop jobs and just call yourself Steve? So it's not that if he drops that name, his name changes. But what happens is, the more and more people call jobs, 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 you write jobs, you speak jobs, on TV, on media, or everywhere, that sound resonates around you. And the whole magic of this sound thing that I'm talking about is about the resonance that you leave in the universe. So if that wouldn't have resonated, who knows, he would have had he would have had a disease, or he wouldn't have had a disease. But even if he had a disease, he would have fought with it. And because destiny is destiny, it had to play out somehow, because there are other things as well that play out in his chart, which would have said that yes, he's going to have an issue with his pancreas, for example, on a better side of that disease. So that's one example. One more thing I want to share. I'm just trying to show you one little example. So this is a token called loop ring. And as I speak today, this token has gone, in just one day, it has gone 86% profit. It's gone up by 87 almost percent. I mean, can you imagine that kind of return anywhere else? It's happening here. And why am I talking about loop ring is because the sound of lu, if I have to show you the chart of the time as I speak. Okay. So this is the chart right now. And I'm sorry, this is the chart for today, when actually it started rallying around that time, when it started going up and it was booming. So the sound of lu is actually here in this house, in the second house of wealth. The Lord of Aries is Mars, which is also sitting here, which makes it very powerful. So this is a very powerful yoga for wealth. And that's what happened to loop ring. It just went up by 87%. And that is phenomenal. And there is a lot of FOMO now. Everyone's thinking, where did this come from? Well, Mars would have gone over this sound many a times. Last year it would have done. What happened? Why didn't it jump at that point in time? See, there are other factors as well. So right now there is a bullish trend, and when the conditions are conducive for growth, the ones that are placed in good places, where the Lord of those signs are sitting there, like you have Mars sitting here in its own sign, those sounds or those tokens or those stocks will perform better. But this is how it plays out. This is how beautifully it manifests in real life. And there are many other examples of sports competition where I can use sounds. And
wow, that's really amazing that you were able to share a little bit your craftsmanship from behind. Still come on, stay on, and we're gonna do some Q&As now. So I'm gonna do a quick what I think the difference of normal astrology reading versus with using your free will. Like he was mentioning, if you stuck with the name where it is today, and all you have to do is use your first name or your middle name, or even your last name, makes it even more profitable for you if you're not wanting to change legally yet. And that's totally fine, but you guys have the option to do so. Here's the thing. What's the difference from a Western reading and somebody who does Vedic astrology? You get the sound. That's the totally different thing. You don't only even get the reading of the chart, like who you are and what's your obstacle and what are the things that you need to learn in this life, or what are the things that you already have in your life that's skill, like leaderships or anything like that. You already have that question, right? So it's a matter of fact, now we have the sound. We're gonna play it. We're gonna activate specifically which area that you want to activate. So he already tells you like which house that you want to activate. If you don't know anything about astrology, just tell him like, I want to activate love. I want to activate money. I want to manifest whatever you want to manifest. I want to activate a home, or maybe you want to manifest a child, whatever it might be. Just let him know what you want to manifest. Like I said, if there's a link down below, you can make a donation, $108 US. book a time from there, make the donation. He'll get in contact with you. And if you know your birth time and birthday and location, great, put that in there in the comment in the donation as well. So he recognizes who you really are. Like I said, this is a very different type of reading. This is totally different. When he was mentioning earlier, and I was mentioning earlier about dating profile, if you come up with a name with Ray, like maybe the name of Ray, and maybe your name is actually Stacy, but you can try using it Rachel. Here's the thing about online dating. I don't want you to give them your real name until you actually physically meet them. Because if they're a catfish, that is a scary situation to be in. And I don't want them to look up who you are, especially if you're a high profile CEO and you're a masculine woman, right? If you're a masculine woman, you want to protect your identity. I totally get that. So it's really important out there that not only you tell who you are, but not only that, but be authentic. Okay. When I say authentic, if you really meet them and they're worth your time, you let them know that they're your first name, but not never your last name and never your career. So go ahead and play around with that. If you book a time with my Abhi Yogi here and he tells you a name, I want you to test it out. I want you to leave a comment down below if the link is not there and you want him back and you want more juicy information. Like I said, he's my Bitcoin broker and as well my wingman here because he really know how to manifest based on sound. It's such a unique place to be. What happened if I told you you don't have marriage, right? If you have dosha, something like that. You know what? We are the type of astrologer, we want to look for free will. We are looking for solution. We know there's a problem here and we want to find a solution. We do not want to ignore it. Let me repeat that one more time. We do not want to ignore the problem here. We want to find a solution or something that supports it. So you're consciously aware. I talk about Freud work quite a bit in my channel. If you need to watch a video about that, definitely it's in there. You can archive it. It's such a special moment that you need to figure it out. How accurate is the sound? Here's the thing. The sound is a tool. Okay, it's a tool, it's a forbidden secret here, and we know this is actually works. And I want to make sure that you have that tool because if you never had it before, how do you know it's not going to work? Do you think the stuff that you're doing right now is working? Great. If it's working, good, right? If it's not working, let's try something else. That's all I'm trying to present here today. And he's just really touched the surface. This is just surface. He's not going to teach you how to do a reading. He's going to tell you this is the sound that you're going to get from based on activating this specific house, based on your wishes and foundation that you want to achieve in this lifetime. So like he was mentioning earlier, why bother going through a relationship where it's such a turmoil to begin with and continue on that relationship and it's causing so much headache or even causing illness? I have seen that myself where it activates the sixth house, where it actually create illness in the individual and they get really sick of it because of the relationship. It doesn't fit them. And it's the universe telling them, get away. Like, I'm not well, get away. So really want you to focus on how you want to manifest love, and especially based on the sound of his name, your name, and the universe, how it all comes together. We're going to do a quick Q&A. I'm going to call back my Abhi Yogi, come back in, and we're going to do Q&A now. So get really clear of summarize what we have learned today. So why, Abhi, why is it sound are so important?
Thanks, Cindy. Thanks for the question. The sounds are important. If you remember how I began, I told you sounds are important because they eventually decide that how, so if there are free gifts lying there for you, how are you going to reach those, gifts? Sometimes you have to dig in at the right place, okay, to find the wealth. Now, if you're digging in the wrong place, no matter how much hard work you put in, you are not going to get success. You might get a little bit of success, but it's still not going to be what you actually deserve or you actually expect. Sounds are important because these sounds can get you the love that you're looking for, the job, the perfect job that you're looking for. I have had people who came to me and asking that, I've got job with Lenovo and then I've got job with Microsoft. And Microsoft being a much larger corporation, I actually had to tell them, go ahead with Lenovo. And because Microsoft did not suit the sound that they were actually on their chart. And when they joined Lenovo, they grew up very fast. The promotions came in, the money came in, and they got promoted offshore, and they have a good life. Well, there's a clear case that Lenovo did work. It's not about would Microsoft, it could have worked. So that's okay. But here I have an option that actually works for you. That is why sound is important. Sound is also important because it actually helps you manifest whatever you dream. We all dream of that luxury car, of that nice husband, caring, that beautiful spouse, very handsome. And handsome is not just about looks, it's also about the person that portrays himself, outside when he is with you. That is what is handsome, or that is what is beautiful. So um, that's the reason sounds are important. What do you think, Cindy?
Yeah, I think sound is a really important. When we talked about the chakra and the vibration of opening up your heart, we use sound to go and stuff like that. That's a really good vibration, because when you say somebody's name, you immediately turn around and you say, yes, that's me, that's me you're calling. It recognize that. So your soul manifests that. It's like, oh, that's me. I'm the one who's winning that lottery. Today's the lottery ticket today. This is the superstar today. So I think sound is really important, how you manifest it and how you say it. If people butcher your name, then maybe that sound, maybe it either is them, it's not a good calling for them, or it might be the fact that it doesn't sound right to them, or not sound right to you. You don't hear it, right? You don't hear it. So that's why sound is so important. That's why I brought Abhi Yogi here to tell me about the sound and how it actually works on the chart. Right. So there's no funny business here on the based on the sound here. Right. You guys all know my name is Cindy. You guys all recognize that. And you guys call my name when you write a comment. You are vibrating. You're like, Cindy, pay attention to my question. Pay attention. When you write a comment down below, I see that my eyes draw to it right away and I respond to those questions. All right. Abhi Yogi, what about if a woman actually changes her last name to his last name? What is that? How does that affect?
Yes, that can have an impact. It's very important for to actually analyze that. For example, let's take this example of Angelina Jolie. Imagine she's a woman who's working, trying to, she's worked hard all her life, trying to grow the corporate, trying to climb the corporate ladder, and make more money and success and all that. It is very important for her to be to be careful about what name she's picking on, and putting along with her name, because that sound can actually be the sound of her eighth house, or of her 12th house, or the sixth, or associated with one of the malefic planets in the, or one of the malefic nakshatras like Ardra, Mula, and nakshatras like that. So then from there she can either make it or break it. So that's why it's very important. We might take it very lightly, that Angelina Jolie can become Angelina Pitt, I'm sorry. But maybe Angelina Pitt wouldn't have got any movie offers after that, if she changed that. Or if the pay is if that sound of per is in a good space in her chart, then maybe she would have got her dream venture that she was looking for, and that fame, like how we all still remember Marilyn Monroe. She was so beautiful, and everyone's still crazy about her, and she has that vintage value. So, maybe she would have climbed to that kind of a level, or maybe beyond that. So that's one example of how, the last name that you pick after marriage does, make a difference. And it can either make it or break it. So be very careful. Let someone like me or Cindy to, help you with, by choosing the right name, so that, all that hard work that and all that education and all that, perseverance that you've put in doesn't go in drain, just because of that one little thing that the universe is upset with. Okay. That's the importance, man.
That's really well said. So Abhi Yogi, if I book a reading with you, what do I get out of it?
You get all the lucky sounds that are good for you, and you also get to know what kind of sounds are most favorable for relationships, for romantic liaisons, the different obstacles that are in between, that are there to which are stopping you from finding that right man or that right woman. And it's not just that. We will also, as you said earlier, we will also find a solution to it. There are mantras that we can, that you can chant, and there are certain rules attached to it. But so these solutions actually help you rectify the issues in the chart and remove the blockages that are, stopping you from getting that that happiness out of a relationship, or romance. Or if there is a dearth of romance. And there are lots of combinations, hundreds of combinations, how that can happen. But it's so important to dissect them, look into them, and then find solutions. And so you find that, and overall you find happiness and love. And when I say, I guarantee you, I'm not boasting of my knowledge. I'm just the messenger here. It's your own guides and your, the good souls around you and your good deeds that you've left in this universe that are actually coming back to you, and I'm the medium. I'm the nimitta. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. I'm the nimitta, and I'm no one else but the messenger, and I'm just giving it back to you, and you've earned that. That's why you are here on Cindy's channel, and you're listening to her, because you are destined to solve or rectify this issue. Otherwise the entire world would have listened to Cindy. I pray to God it does happen one day that the entire world is listening to her, but you are the chosen one. The bunch of people who are watching it or listening to it are the chosen one, and it's up to them to kind of reach out and make the difference in their life.
Wow, Abby, I'm so flattered that the world's going to be listening to me, and I will get there, right? I'm so excited. I want to segue to, you were mentioning about mantra. How's that work? Because, maybe if I'm a Westerner and never have meditated and I don't know what mantra is, what is a mantra? Can you give me like, what's the benefit actually doing a mantra?
So there are a lot of mantras that one can chant, but specifically to the sounds. So, for example, the sound. Okay, let's take an example of Steve Jobs that we spoke about a while ago. Now, his name is Steve Jobs, and the sound of J is not in good space on his chart. Okay. However, there is another planet or another house in his chart which is well placed, where the sound of that planet or sound of ascendant or the moon, the corresponding sound, is favorable for him. So we give you a mantra based on your body type as per Ayurveda. So there are 3 types of people, as per Ayurveda. There are it's Vata, Kapha, and Pitta. Okay, so based on looking at a chart, looking at there are certain combinations which tell me what kind of a body you are, and the sound of the good planets, the benefics or the well placed or exalted planets, and the ascendant or the moon, if they are great. We make a mantra which is only for you, And that mantra, if you do it 108 times, or minimum 108 times daily, you actually resonate that sound. So for example, if Steve Jobs is his name, and if he does a mantra where the sound is ka, is good for him, he can go Om Klim Kam Namah. That's it. It's a very small mantra. I know Sanskrit is not, it's a foreign language for you, but it's very simple and you can do it. And the universe knows that it's foreign language to you. It's not, you're not doing, if you're not speaking it correctly, it's okay. It's not a sin, you're still trying. And that's so that's what universe, and that's what planets, the giver planets like. They actually like the intent of people who are trying. So you do this mantra and Om. So this is an example. Om Klim Kam Namah. Om Klim Kam Namah. So the sound of Kam, basically I'm taking a nasal tone. That's the rule in the mantras for the sounds. So that sound, that calm that I say all the time, 108 times actually, I can do it as many times as I want. I have clients who actually drive 1 hour to work, and in their car, they just keep saying that all the time as they're driving, because it just helps them, and it's way beyond 108, I can assure you. So what is happening is that sound is resonating around you, and you are actually giving out this message to the universe that this is the sound that's around me. This is my name. It's like 108 people actually calling your name, right? It's like 108 people calling you Carl, or Katie. It's this is how it works. So this is how it works. And then there are a couple of other mantras that one, when they book a reading and based on the chart, I can suggest some mantras which can actually help them, which are simple remedies. And these are free remedies. There's no big money or big pujas or yagyas that you have to do. It's just, you have to spend 3 or 4 minutes of your time. I mean, you can do that. I mean, it's a no-brainer that if you just spend that much time on yourself, there is so much to gain, so much to gain.
Wow, Abhi Yogi, that was very inspiring because, like when you were saying earlier about names and sound, and, when you listen to music, you get goosebumps. And then when they have your name in there calling your name, it sounds amazing. So it's a really great opportunity for yourself to use this as a great way to connect with your name and sound. And I think if you are ready to book a time to connect with Abhi Yogi here, my wingman, please go and do it. The link is down below. If it's not there, it means that's it. This is the end of the promotion. And if you want him to come back and talk about more about love and specifically about certain remedies, I'm more than happy to welcome him today. I want to conclude our presentation today. I want to thank you for taking the time to do this and connecting with us, and even having the education about the spiritual context, how sound really makes the difference in your romantic relationships. So don't be shy, don't hesitate. I really want you to go ahead and take the clip. And I really feel like this is a great way to connect. And I want to thank Abhi Yogi, my wingman, and Bitcoin broker here as well, to coming on this channel and really talking about sound and changing a lot of people and opening up their mind, their unconscious mind, to really about sound. So I want to thank you, Abhi Yogi, here to be here with me today. And it's such a special moment, So thank you, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, and kings and queens. Let's go and find our soulmate. And I like to end this session by saying, if there's a will, there is a way. Thank you, everybody.